So 6/31 on the 31st, Halloween, which it's, I don't know, it seems kind of like things are so divided already. Like you have a group of people who are all out to celebrate Halloween, and then you have another group of people who are just like so over it. And then starting, I think it starts at the beginning of November. This whole thing of you're supposed to boycott everything, not buy anything and stuff, which to me it makes sense. We gotta stop buying all of their holiday bullshit. I can't believe the amount of money that people spend on the Halloween decorations. I used to decorate a lot at Halloween, but it wasn't anything like it is now. Like now it's insane. God dang. Oh, and also, this is creepy. So they have these animated decorations. I guess the amnio robotics or something. I don't know. These decorations that move around and do stuff. Well, a guy who works at Spirit Store said people are constantly buying those and bringing them back. And when they bring them back, they've obviously been used for sexual gratification. It's like, what in the world? I can't even get over. Like, what in the fetish is God? Like, how far are we going to go? Another one of these officials, he's not Congress or Senate, but he's somewhere up in some kind of official capacity. And now he's got charges because he just can't keep his thing out of his dog. It's like, dude, what the fuck? I swear to God, I can't even. It's like how, I mean, there's like a whole section of people who have got no control over what they do. They want to do it, they just do it. Like no impulse control, no sitting and thinking like, is that a good idea? I don't know. Maybe if I just do it. It's like, I don't know. This world is so fucking weird. But I don't know. It's weird that it's Halloween. It's weird that 2025 is almost over. You know what I've noticed too? This part of my hair where I kept saying it seemed kind of like, well, is it just going to stay that way? It is suddenly going much darker. So, and I'm thinking, well, the only thing that's different is this water that comes from the ground, that comes out of the pipes here, that has a high concentration of a certain mineral. And and everything absorbs like through your skin and stuff. So I'm thinking, I don't know, but this is something I'm definitely paying attention to now. It still looks more brighter in this, but man, when you just look in the regular mirror, it's like, dang, this is getting so much darker. So now I want to pay attention to that. Oh yeah, let's look at this too, because it was really having a lot of white. Now it's got like a little bit of gray, but not anything like it was doing before. So feeling like now is it going to start piling on the enamel, which would be great. Because I think once it starts getting more enamel over it, it won't be so sensitive. But it's less sensitive than it had been. So it's like after a year, finally it's starting to really, it took a year. And then if you weren't around when it broke, I'll do a recap. Because it was, there was a silver filling in there. And they had told me that there was this little tiny cavity next to the silver filling. And that they wanted to go in and take out this old filling and fill this cavity. It was like fucking years ago. But I had already had them take out one silver one at the dentist office. I don't know, because there's these, what are they, like holistic dentists and stuff now that remove all that stuff. And I don't know if they do it less, but when I had it done, it was horrible. It was so horrible. And so I was like, fuck, man, I can't do that. And so I just kind of like wasn't doing anything. And this was like quite a while. And then every time I go to the dentist to get my teeth cleaned, they'd be like, oh, you really need to do that. You really need to do that. And then once lockdown happened, I stopped going to all the stuff. It was just pissing me off, all the bullshit. And so I it was obviously getting worse because that is what it just broke. And when I bit down on something, it wasn't even something hard. And so it was like cookie dough. So then it broke it. So when it broke it in half, it took the silver out. So the silver was gone. And then, so there was the hole from the silver, but also the hole from the cavity. So it was like my tooth was broken in half with this big, giant, black, gaping hole. And this is where we're at now. And, at the time, I already had heard about teeth growing back. And when I went, so it broke on a Sunday, so I made an appointment to go into the dentist the next day and see what's up, because I didn't know how bad it was or anything. And when I went in, and they started telling me my options, and he was like wanting to do it right then and there. It was gonna be like $300 or something, and I didn't have that much money in my account. And so I thought, well, if I get a hold of my mom and she says that I can borrow it till whatever payday was, I think a couple days away, and then I will do it. But if she doesn't answer, then that's a sign from the universe that I'm not supposed to do it. And so they, and plus he was like, okay, well, we'll do this. If that doesn't work, we'll do this. If that doesn't work, we'll do this. And so it was like, I've already had them do that. I already had him like, okay, well, we're going to do a filling. Well, if that doesn't work, then we're going to do a root canal. If that doesn't work, then we're just going to pull a tooth. And so I already went through all that. And when you go and you pay to do it, you don't get your money back because it didn't work. No, you got to pay for each motherfucking thing that they do. And so so when he was sitting there saying that, I'm thinking, fuck, they may as well just go to the first thing and pull it. Like, why would we sit here and try and fill it? If that doesn't work, then we'll do a root canal and have to put a crown on it and all this stuff. So I don't even remember all the stuff that he was saying, but it wasn't just a one thing. So but he's like, oh man, we got to do this right now. We got to do this right now. And so I called my mom. She wasn't there. I asked them, well, can you do it and then just take the money out of my account next week when I get paid or whatever? And they're like, oh no, we can't do that. It's like, okay, well, I'll just make the appointment for after I get paid. And they're like freaking out. Oh my God, no, no. It's like, what do you want me to do? Like, what the hell? And so, so they, okay, we'll make the appointment for 2 weeks. So I, in that 2 weeks, it had already started changing. It had already started growing back. And so I was like, oh my gosh, my tooth is growing back. I'm just going to see how this rolls out. I'm not going to go in and have them do shit. And so, but it still looks pretty bad. Even when I had said that, there was people who were like, oh my God, you've got to get it fixed. But I was like, I can see something happening. And so, I didn't do it. I canceled the appointment and just kept letting it go and kept letting it go. And now I just like grown back that much. And so, but it's taken a year. But I do feel like now it maybe really is starting to get to the point of putting the enamel back over, because it has to grow all the dent and it has to fill in all of this space and stuff. So now I feel like, I don't know, we'll see. Well, everything is, we'll see. We'll see where this takes us. We'll see where this takes us. I don't know if anybody else saw any big major things that happened over the last couple days with this big blast. I haven't even seen anybody talking about the Schumann resonance. But these big blasts that, were going to happen or supposedly happened or whatever. To me, everything just seems the same. Nothing seems like different. Even people I've talked to on the phone, just seems the same. Doesn't seem like anything to me. So, and then I don't know what's supposedly going on with the Atlas. It kind of seems to me like it's just fake. It's just this big show. Everything seems like a big show. Nothing seems, it's weird. It's like nothing seems real. It all seems like a show. Everything just seems like it's to get us to notice, to get us to look at things differently or something. So I don't know. I don't, I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know if it is like some energy thing. I do think though, I do believe in the prophecies. I do believe that there's going to be a shift. I do believe that everybody is going to see themselves like they've never seen themselves before. I do believe it is happening, but it's happening a lot slower. I do believe people are their own blockages and that they won't look at the things. They're misdirected, and then there's so much drama going on, and it's a lot easier to look over the drama. And then not only that, it's like there's a party around every corner. You know, it's like just to be distracted with parties and drama and holidays and stuff like that. So it's staying away from, you know, really working on themselves or looking deeper into things. And I think so many people, when something comes up for them and they're faced with something, it's a lot easier to just go out with your friends and have some drinks and forget about it, instead of really understanding what you're here to do. What is life all about? What are you here to work on? What are you here to grow past? What are you here to, it's all about you and your growth. It's all about you and the redesigning, the restructuring of self. And I think that there's periods of time where there isn't like a restructure. You know, you're just going, you're adding to your code, you're going through experiences, and you're just creating code. But then this is like a period of time where we're rewriting code. We're gathering all our code up and seeing what it all comes together as. And because you learn from all the experiences, but you got to take the time to stop, drop, and listen. You got to stop and listen to the code. You got to stop and listen to yourself and expand on that. But, you know, in this shallow world, it's not a priority. The priority is have fun and, I don't know, bitch about life and have fun. But it's just like there's so many people that just don't get what life is all about. And I did see a video though of, I guess the Christians are all up on the spiritual people again, who are all like, to me, I mean, they call it channeling and all that stuff, but it is just being open to the communication, like the universal communication. And so you are in like contact from, it's like an internal contact in the bigger, broad sense of things. And so you get bigger messages, you get more direction and stuff like that. And so there's lots of people who are opening themselves up. And I think that it isn't even like, some people aren't even doing it on purpose, but the communication is just coming in harder and stronger, so you can't ignore it. And that's where people like, oh, I got downloads, and everybody thinks they're channeling, you know, Galactic Federation and Airbase channeling, I don't know, Mary Magdalene, different angels, archangels, all this stuff. And it's kind of funny to me though, because it's kind of a limitation right there to have like a parameter over where the communication is coming from. Plus, I think it's kind of name dropping. They try and make it more significant because, well, Archangel Michael said this. You know, the Galactic Federation said this. So it's like, I don't know. Some of the stuff is like, if it isn't about what you should be doing yourself, about how to look at things differently, how to expand yourself and stuff like that, I don't know that it's that significant. And because no matter what is going on in the world, it's going to happen. Whether we know it's going to happen ahead, which to me, We know a lot of these things are going to happen ahead. We know there's going to be more disasters. We know that the West Coast is going to be gone. The middle, going up the Mississippi, is going to wipe out a bunch of places. The East Coast is going to change. We know some of these things are going to happen. But then, what does that do? You can't change it. You can't do anything about it. It's like, I used to think about this when I was a kid. What if I knew the day and time I was going to die? How would I handle that? What would I do? It's like it has to sneak up on you. You would just focus on it. And so there's nothing you can do about certain events. And they're going to happen, when they happen, how they're going to happen, or anything. And so, what would you do if you knew the exact day and time? Would you just go sit in your closet and hide? Or would you just be out living your life? So it's like, we're not meant to know every little single thing. And there's been tons of people who have come in and been like, they got a premonition, a dream, this is going to happen. It's going to happen next week and all that stuff. And then the time goes by. That doesn't mean the event's not going to happen. I don't know what their interpretation is of timing, why they figure it's going to happen at this certain day or time or whatever. But it is, to me, it's like there's certain things that are going to happen. They're going to happen for sure. And that we just got to ride the wave of what it is that's going on at the time until we get to that time. And then however and whatever happens, then we just have to, everything is to overcome things, and the more you can overcome, the bigger steps you take towards being a builder of the new world. Because a builder of the new world is strong, and it seems to know what it's doing here. And it isn't a product of its environment, where you just have all these people who just, they don't even give any relevance to existence, to life. It's purposeless. And to me, it's purposeful. Like, there's reasons. And everything is learning, growing, overcoming. It's an expansion. And so so I don't know, it kind of is out of fear why people need to know the day and time. But seriously, if you knew the day and time that you were going to die, there's just, I don't know. It just is like, why would we need to know the day and time? It'd be nice, but really, what would you do with the information? If you knew the day and time you were going to die, what would you do? I think that a lot of us would run and hide from it. We would try and duck it. We would think that we could do something different, but you can't. That to me is like that one movie. It's like, even if you were trying to duck and hide from death, something else will come crashing through. Like, you run in here and you're trying to hide or something, and then a fucking car would come crashing through. A plane would come crashing down. Something. It's always going to be something. Something's going to happen that is the end, and that's the end. Is the endings are always beginnings, because that storyline ends, but another one begins. And so it's not really, there's never really an ending, that there's nothing that happens after. Every ending brings a beginning. Just as this ending in this world is bringing a beginning of the next one. It's just that there's just a whole group of people who are going to different places. Not everybody's going to the beginning because, well, honestly, they're not here for that. They're not here to be going to the beginning. They're here to experience the ending, and then they're going to a different beginning. But in this realm, or in this existence, or this earth plane, or however you want to look at it, there is a beginning that's going to start over here. And I don't know if it's going to start over from scratch. To me, it seems like it's going to start over from the rubble. Like, there's going to be a lot of disaster, and then there's going to be starting again, like the rebuilders, They're like, well, we're not going to get taken down by this. We're going to just start over. We're going to rebuild. We're going to make something better. And so but we got to see, it's like this big playing out is to show us what isn't working so we don't rebuild the same thing. So we start with something different. We do something different. And so everything is to show us what isn't working. To me, it seems like. And then I saw this girl and she was saying, like, this has been the year of the snake. And the year of the snake has been about shedding and slow moving and slithering. And everything is about letting go of, this transformation of yourself because you are shedding your old skin. Well, not everybody's doing that. But you are given opportunities. You have got information and communication that comes in to try and get you to look at stuff, but you get distracted and look at other things. And you don't see the purpose of life. So then you think, well, I'm just here to have a good time. And you override it. And so those are the things that people look at when they get to in their life review. But really, you are here to look at those things. So you can grow or let go of things or whatever it is. And so the people who do that, those ones are the ones who are here to rebuild a new society and build it different than it has been before. There was something else I was going to say. It was like coming through, but I don't know. I just know that there's lots of people who they just don't value life, of what it means, what it's all about. And so they just skip it. They don't pay attention. And so I don't know. That's the kind of stuff that, what you put out will come back to you. And that's the kind of stuff I think that people, kick themselves for. Like, I wish I would have been deeper. I wish I would have looked at things more intensively. I wish I would have understood. I wish I would have known what I was supposed to be doing. But it's like the communication's there. It's just that a lot of people override it and overlook it and don't listen. And that's, that's their lessons. That's what they're here to learn about, of what it is that distracts them, the shallow sides of themselves, and how easily it is to, get them to pull off from what's important, to pull over to something that's artificial and doesn't matter. It's like, it keeps reminding me of like a squirrel attention. It's like they don't have attention. They want to look at the things that make them feel good instead of the things that, because a lot of times when you're looking at yourself, it's going to make you feel bad. You're going to have to see parts of yourself that you're not happy with. And so, and it's easy to start beating yourself down. But those are all things to learn and to grow and to not beat yourself down because you didn't know something. To not beat yourself down because it took you... God. It's clearing my throat all the time. It's driving me crazy. And I don't know what it is. I mean, I keep seeing them that they keep spraying. I keep having, like, I definitely feel like my fingers are less swollen and things are hurting less. But, like, this thing on my side is just killing me, man. I cannot fucking believe. Like, I would think, like, of all my injuries that I've ever had, this is a bad one. Is I've never had something that just kept lasting and lasting like this. It's like, what in the world did I do? And it is so weird because it was literally 2 posts. It was one post had a hole and the other post had the thing that goes in the hole. And then it had this lip. So like a couple inches in, it had this lip thing. So you had to get past the lip in order to lock it in. And so I was trying to shove it and it wouldn't go past the lip thing. And so I kept pushing it, pushing it, pushing it. Just that is whatever it was that I did to myself. It wasn't like I was doing some extreme thing. I was trying to push this thing down inside, and somehow it did something. But the way it just keeps hurting so bad, and the way it doesn't get better, it's like, fuck, man, what the hell? And sometimes the pain will start going across my back or across my chest, and then I'll start thinking, Jesus, what if I had like some kind of aortic dissection or some kind of kidney? But what, I mean, how would that have happened right at that exact moment? So I'm sure it has to be just some kind of tear or something. But and then I tell myself, well, you know, if that's how it's meant to go, if I'm meant to die, I'm gonna die. It's not like, and it would be, to me, it would just be kind of a waste to go in and then have them. Man, I've gone in so many times and had them, like when I broke my shoulder when I was skiing, and the fuck no. So when I was snowboarding, and I was going super fast, and I hit into something, and I flipped over, and I put my arm out or something, and when I did, it tore all this. So it tore my muscle off the bone, and it broke the bone in order to tear it. So it like broke the bone and tore that out. And so it had that. And then it had, I can't remember all the different things, but so they focus on the most obvious. And then it just wasn't getting better. It wasn't getting better. And this was going on for a long time, because even when it was in a cast or a sling or whatever it was, that I couldn't even work. The hospital wouldn't let me work. Fucking hell, they let these women go around and on these scooters. They get to go around. If they got some leg injury, they get to scoot around on a scooter. But if you have an arm injury, you can't go into work. So they made me use my PTO, which that fucked me too. And then it wouldn't get better. It wouldn't get better. And so then every time I'd go in and get a test, well, we'll do an MRI. Well, then that didn't show anything. Well, we'll do an MRI with stuff in it. That didn't show anything. Well, we'll do this other deeper tissue MRI with stuff in it. It was like there was always another test and another test. And then finally they found the tear. And so it was whatever those tears are called. I can't remember what they're called, but they're called something. And then they said, well, oh, well, it's a good thing we found it, because it was never going to heal. It was way too deep of a tear. It had already been over a year, and it hadn't healed at all. It hadn't fixed itself at all. And so, but also at the time, I was like on 18 of these little fucking magic things. So 18, pieces of paper that somebody signed, you put me on something. So anyways, which to me, my body was way, way worse at that time. And to me, the biggest sign to me of how much worse I was is, well, I was sick as fuck, but my veins, that just trips me out, because my veins were all disappearing. And they were all just like these little thin lines. They could never get blood or anything. I always had these giant ass veins. And so then all of a sudden I had all these little skinny ones. You could never find a vein and stuff. I was like, what in the world? And then once I got off all this stuff, guess what came back? So I was like, oh my God, that is drastic. I saw this video the other day. It was out of the blue. And it was some girl, and she was super young, and she was just put on HOSPICE. And so I was like, and she was crying, that's what she was put on. And I said in the comments, I said, well, I would immediately go get some horse paste, I'll tell you that. And that was it, never saw anything else again. Well, today I saw a video that she's passed. She's gone. And they gave more of her history, that she was at everybody following her story online, and she had some odd, I don't even remember what kind of C, but it was some kind of odd one. And so, and they wouldn't do CHEMO on her or something. And so she was just kind of waiting to go until they decided something that they were going to do. And she was documenting all this stuff. And she was super young and stuff. And then, I mean, it just is sad because at least try the natural stuff. You know, if you're meant to go, you're meant to go. Nothing, it doesn't matter. My mom had a friend who had to see, there was 2 sisters, and one of them was all natural, and she was doing everything natural, and she still passed. Well, if you're meant to pass, you're meant to pass. And when your time is up, your time is up. And it doesn't matter. But still, I would definitely be trying that stuff. So this girl was obviously, she was meant to go the way she went. She wasn't meant to do the other stuff. But it just is sad to me because there is so much natural stuff that people can try. And everybody overlooks it. Everybody's waiting for the, you know, the man in the white jacket to make the decisions over their existence. It's like, man. And I know that that's something that, you know, things like this happening to her is to show us, you know, so we can see, you know, do we want to be waiting for that guy? There was other things we could try, we could have seen. And so there are a lot of people's stories are there to show us the way things go. And then there's other ones to show us the way things could go. But whatever is meant to be is meant to be. You can't change what's meant to be. And so anyways, just seeing that, you know, and seeing, like, I just had seen her a couple weeks ago, and she was just going on there, and now she's gone that quick. And it's just, I don't know. I just feel like, man, people got to open their minds and start looking at this stuff more and trying more things, not just waiting for the guy in the white jacket to tell them what to do. So, anyways, but, you know, what it was meant to be is meant to be. That's for sure. When you're meant to go, you're meant to go. There's nothing you can do about that. And we're at this time where there's a lot of stuff that is going to play out the way it's going to play out. But the girl who was talking about this has been the year of the snake. Anyway, she said next year is the year of the horse. And she said it is going to be a wild ride. A horse is nothing like the snake. And it's going to be a lot more, I don't know, kind of give you the idea of like a stallion trying to tame a stallion or something, a wild stallion. And so it is that things are going to be a lot more dramatic and faster moving. There's going to be a lot more pushback and fight back, which I saw, and I don't know if this is true, but more power fucking to them if it is. But over in the IRAN, that the girls have decided they are not going to cover up anymore. They're going back like how they were in the 70s. They're going back and just going. They're just having their hair out. They're dressing normal. And it's so crazy because it was like that before. And it was a place where a lot of people would even travel to. And then all of a sudden they came in and their control and told the girls, you know, we'll take you out if you don't put on this stuff and cover up. And so all these people did. They probably took a lot of people out in order to get the other ones to do it. And then everybody fell in line and they've been doing it. And then it got more and more extreme to the point where it was like, now they fought back. Now they're like, fuck you guys, we're not doing it. And the video I saw was just showing all of these women just going around, just like rocking their regular clothes and hair. And it's like, good. That's what we got to do. You know, we got to stand up. We got to risk what if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. So if we're meant to be, you know, a martyr in a situation, then that's how it's going to play out. But if we don't all take action and we don't all stand up for what we want, what we believe in, then it never changes. It just stays the same. So people have to take a stand. There's another place too that has a big thing happening where the people are all going against. This keeps happening all over the place. There's another big one going on somewhere. I can't remember because there keeps being so many. But that's what we got to do. We got to stand up. We got to stop being their bitches, you know. We got to say, hey, no, we're not doing what you ask us to do. And here it's so, like, I just saw these guys on this podcast, and they said that in, you know, the coffee place is so popular from Seattle. I'm not even going to say the name. That they, you know, what is popular right now, and I've even gotten a couple already, is pumpkin. So, you know, pumpkin latte, pumpkin this, pumpkin that. And I think a lot of us look forward to, you know, oh, it's fall, get the pumpkin chai tea, yay. But a lot of people like the pumpkin latte, whatever. So the in like England or someplace where they have them, they use like carrot juice or beet juice or something to give it the color. Well, what do they do in America? What do they use in America to give it that color? Ammonia. So, and the guys that were like, and we wonder why everybody's got the big C and stuff like that. Yeah, that's why. Because they're fucking, uh, you know, poisonous to the. They're just filling us full of it. And all of our foods and stuff. There's so many other countries, so many other places that don't allow this stuff. And then we just, like, we're just allowing it. We just continue to buy it. It's like, put all the junk you want in there and we'll just run up and buy it. And I don't know if this is true either, because this is disgusting. And there's so many stories out there that aren't true, but there are true. So even if it's not, this story is true, the whole context of it is true. And you know, there's body and the slime and parts and all that stuff and everything. And this is in those drinks. I think the tea drinks, which, you know, when you have kombucha, you have something that starts, it's the mother, and it is kind of a slime, and it is the yeast, and it does grow and they become bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, that is with the fermentation and stuff. So I don't know if it's something with that, and they're just saying it's something else, but they're saying like there's been these slimy parts and eyeballs and stuff that have been found in there. So I don't know. I don't know. And I don't know, you know, the fermentation, if the tea sit there a long while, if it starts fermenting and growing, if there's with the sugar and stuff. So I don't know. But I do believe that there is slime and gross stuff in our foods. And there's another thing going around, which I don't know if it's true either, but in HAITI, that now they are just openly what we would consider what the name of you would be if you were into eating the Soylent Green. Like if you just were like, hey, Bob over there looks pretty good, let's go get him and have some supper. Those people, that they are openly doing it now, just cooking people up in the streets. People are going missing, they're cooking them up in the street and serving them out. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, nothing would surprise me. There's nothing. I think there was something the other day that I heard, which it surprised me, but it was not something so extreme. All this extreme stuff, it's like, I wouldn't be surprised. The world is so fucking insane. It's weird too, because well, for one thing, you know, these people who are saying that they get like $4,100 for food stamps and stuff. I don't know if they are trying to make like satire, trying to get attention or whatever, because this other girl, she said she looked it up, and she said that you can't get past $995. That's it. That's the limit. So I have no idea. There's definitely people out there saying that they've got all this money they're making, and I don't know if they are like trying to rage bait people, trying to just get attention, trying to get views, or what the hell they're trying to do. And I keep seeing these videos of these certain women at the stores, like fighting and freaking out. And a lot of them are super overweight, and they'll be sitting there saying, we're going to starve and stuff. It's like, well, you obviously, you probably don't need as much as what you're eating. So, and doubt you're going to starve. But there was one, it's like, what? It's wacky. So this one girl goes in, steals a whole bunch of she gets her whole cart full of meat and steak, all these fucking ton of meat. And her whole cart just wheels on out of there. And then there's another lady in the parking lot that steals her cart. So she starts hitting her, punching her, and beating her up, and then starts filling her car with all the steaks. And like, I don't know if people are just going out and doing these performances for views and stuff. I don't know. I mean, that's how wacky our world is, though. That people would go and do weird shit like that just to get attention. It's like our world is so empty, and people are so desperate for attention that they just do weird shit. So who knows? Who knows? But whatever. I know that there's people who are freaking out about the, not having any money and how they're going to feed their people. There's people who are being laid off from their jobs and stuff. There's people who aren't getting paid for working. There's all sorts of things going on, but you know who it's hurting? The banks. So that's the thing, is like, you sit there and say, well, just stop paying all your stuff. Well, that doesn't mean they're not going to turn it off. You got to just be like, well, people used to live without this and used to live without electricity and stuff. Go back and get some candles. Go back and get some gas lanterns. Just go back, to where we were able to survive and exist without this stuff. But let me think what I was going to say. Because all of this stuff of people losing all their jobs and not getting paid and stuff like that, they're not paying their cars and their mortgages. So there's a huge collapse that's about to go on the cars, where they said that they're going to get a whole bunch of cars that are going to start going super, super cheap. They're going to try and sell these cars off. And so if you have money and you need a new car, then this is the time to watch for that to go down, because they have millions of cars that they've repossessed. It's like they try and punish us, but they punish themselves. That's what I mean. It's like the snake eating its own tail. So they are trying to punish us, but then they get overloaded because nobody can pay their stuff. So it's the same thing happening in the housing market. And so we're that much closer to this collapse, which there was, I saw somebody else saying that they didn't think the government was ever going to open back up. That Donald has been out there saying he's got everything he needs. He's already got it passed. It's all in the BBB, and it's all there. So there's nothing that he needs to worry about anymore. So they can stay closed down. And it's not him who's closed them down. It's the other side. And that's the thing that most of the people don't see. They're trying to make it look like it's him, but it's them. And they keep on trying to, the one side, because of course it's just a big fucking show anyways, because both sides are just as corrupt as the other, but that they are trying to pass certain things, like make sure people get food and stuff like that. And the other side, the side that supposedly is for the people, that they won't. They keep refusing it. So they keep everything that they try and put forth, the one side, the other side rejects it. And so it stays in this lockdown. But they're the ones who are perpetuating this lockdown situation and then trying to make it and blame it on the other guy. But that's why I think, like, there probably will be some things of, like, food, ways to get food for people or something. Something will go down, because it will be starting tomorrow is where these things are going to start happening, because it's the beginning of November. And then hopefully, with the more and more stuff closing down, the more and more people not paying their bills, it's going to just cause more of a collapse in the banking system. So, because that's where we make big moves. Once those people go down, that's when things are going to start turning more in our favor. And then it's supposed to be right away, it's going to be with the med beds and stuff. And so, and we don't really know, like, in what direction. To me, it seems like that there will be a lot of incentives, and there'll be a lot of money that's going to go back into communities. There'll be a lot of, to me, I think, a lot of direction of where to build such communities. And so there'll be a lot of money going into certain areas, which I would think that those certain areas or certain ways of life will be more like in a safe zone from where all the disasters are. So I think there'll probably be a lot like in the Midwest and stuff, because then in the Midwest, there's going to be a lot of more safer zones. Like, you just got to look at the map and see. But that's what I think, that they're going to try and pull people into certain areas, into places that are not going to have. There's going to be lots of, still, no matter what, everybody's going to deal with all sorts of things. They're even saying here where I'm at, there's supposed to be blizzards and stuff. And it's cold as shit some of these mornings. It's weird, too. Some of the mornings it'll be like 26, and the next morning it'll be like 40. It's like, what in the world? This is so weird. But I did go out in the sun each of these days. You know, you're supposed to be out there with the solar maximus, pulling in this energy. I went out there. I don't know. I don't know that I feel any different. And I don't know. I mean, there's so many of these people are like, oh, this is it. This is it. This is the change. Oh, yeah. So the church people, because they are now seeing all these people who are listening to themselves, to me is what it is, listening to the internal dialogue, and, you know, where you can start recognizing it's not just you thinking, there's somebody talking to you. Now they're all like, oh, it's the devil. So they've been saying this forever. I've been told this forever, that I'm talking to the devil, and the devil's trying to trick me and stuff like that. And so all these people are telling these other people, you know, like, they're all wrong. The spiritual movement is all wrong. That it is, you know, the devil and all this stuff. This girl who I saw who was mad about it, she was like, oh my God, just like a couple weeks ago, you guys were all taking off your clothes, selling all your stuff, and getting ready to go up into the sky, preparing for your cult death. And now you're sitting here saying, we're talking to the devil? It's like it is absurd, and it is, there is like this hypocrisy. It's like whatever they think is real and good, but whatever anybody else thinks, if it doesn't match what they think, then it is a distortion of reality. It's not real or good. I think that all these different realities are out there, but it's for you to start looking at, you know, for you to start seeing for yourself through things and stuff. And that those people, to me, just keep themselves trapped with the, you know, it's a huge parameter of existence to have everything based on this, what the church tells you, or what the Bible tells you, or whatever. Especially to me, it has just always gotten me, is that the God they're trying to sell you is so low vibration. Like, this egomaniac, this, everything that he represents, it's just division and hate, and it'll kill you, will burn you in hell forever if you don't like him, and all this stuff. It's like, what in the world creator of a high vibration would do that? That is like low vibration. And so it's like, if anybody's worshiping the devil, it's the you guys. Like, just think about what it stands for. But then they're always just like, I don't know. It's like they overlook those things and just look at the other stuff. But to me, more and more is being exposed. More and more of the type of people that are regarded in religion, and now it is a place for bad people to hide out and look like good people, because it's all a facade, and it's so artificial. Like, you just show up at this place on Sundays, you go and stand at the end of the pew and hold a tray of money, and then all of a sudden you're a good person. And then you get to adopt all these kids, and then it doesn't matter what you do. It's another preacher's son now just got busted. What was his? Oh yeah, his bust was his photo album, I guess you would call it, on his phone. And he had a whole bunch of pictures that were AI generated of pregnant toddlers in makeup and stuff like that. What the fuck? What? I swear to God, these people are so strange. And who knows what all he's done? He probably sells this stuff, like, who knows? But, of course, his, dad is a man of God, and he's out there, like, it's such a hiding place for people who are perverted and creepy and evil. And it's sad because there is people there who really do want to be close to God and close to their spiritual side and really want to be moral and stuff like that. But that's what they depend on, because they need to hide behind those people. And so, but those people are in denial of the bad people and the ones that are just trying to take the money and buy themselves things. And then even the thing with the mega church, like if you got a community that has got homeless people and stuff, then what the fuck are you putting money into a mega church for? Why in the world can't your people just meet outside? You need a fucking mega church. You can't just go and meet in a field. It's like, why do you need so much stuff that when there's people out there who are starving and homeless? Like right there, it shows that you don't give a shit about your community. You just give a shit about building the bigger walls to hide behind. So it's all just a bunch of hypocrisy. It's a big fucking farce. It's a big bunch of bullshit. And so it's, I don't know, it's aggravating. But there's the spiritual side, though, is, it's odd that it tries to give a bad rap. But then you got all these people who just jumped on board to the show of spirituality. I've said this for years, though. I was pointing it out for years that that's what they were doing. It wasn't new news to me. All these spiritual people and these spiritual leaders and these fucking life coaches and spiritual coaches, ascension coaches, and all of that stuff, that they were all a bunch of phonies. I thought that was obvious. And now they're all kind of like, they haven't been doing the work. They're just, I don't know, selling themselves and trying to wear a costume and try and pretend like they are super spiritual. But spiritual is about walking the walk. It's like, to me, it's like every day, everything that happens, every single thing that happens to you is just to stop and to reflect and to try and think it through. Like, why would this be happening? What am I here to learn from this? How do I grow from this? What is this here to show me? And when you are going in that direction, you have to be willing to look at yourself. You have to be willing to take time for yourself. You have to be willing to be deep and to see more of the depth to a situation. And but I mean, I just saw this one woman. She was talking about this spiritual girl who she follows, and she said, like, she's losing it. Somebody needs to go watch her videos or something. So I was just curious, like, who is this she's talking about? So I go and look, and I think I might have seen this girl pop up every once in a while or something. It's not something I was familiar with, but her videos, and I've seen this with so many of these people, and they start getting super angry, and they start getting really mad at people, and it's like, if somebody's there to teach you something or to give you some kind of insight on something, then why would you get mad at them? Everybody's there to give you some type of reflection, and so you wouldn't be getting mad like everybody's out fucking you over and stuff like that and losing your mind and stuff. So it's like they're not looking at things through, like, through spiritual eyes, I guess. Like, they're not looking at things in a certain way. They're still looking at things like very egotistical and very, I don't know, because there's a point in life that, yeah, there's going to be people who are going to hurt you, but it's either you overcoming it or seeing through it. It's like about karma. Like, it's not just like people are out to fuck you over. It's all opportunities to learn and grow. But anyways, but they're obstacles that they all keep getting stuck. They're not able to get over the wall because they're not really doing the work. They're not really being spiritual. They're just calling themselves spiritual. No, when you are spiritual, then you try and understand, what does this have to do with my spirit? What is my spirit to go through this for? Why would this happen? And there's more depth to it. So it's going in deeper. And then also, these people who were like, oh, they're living their best life by getting you to pay for them to guide you into trying to have a better one. And to me, that was very backwards, because a spiritual person, their journey would be to need less. Like, I don't need that to be happy. I don't need that to be happy. I can be happy with very little. I can be happy and find peace in my own self, in my own soul. I can find peace without having a lot of stuff. I don't need stuff to try and fulfill me. But then it was the flip side, where these people are all like, oh, living your best life, you get all this and this and this, and that's what fulfills you. But that isn't the spiritual journey. The spiritual journey is like, I don't need all of these things. I can find peace and joy and find fulfillment in a deeper way than having to live in a material world and have a lot of material things. Which, speaking of material things, this was weird because, in manifesting, and when you're manifesting, the universe brings it to you. And when it's going to cost money, the universe will bring you money. It doesn't just bring you clients to make money off of. To me, that is kind of like this other girl's story that I'll tell in a second. But so, a couple days ago, I was sitting here and I was thinking, I wonder about if I could find a house that I could move here. Like, I wonder how much it would be to move a house here. I wonder how many houses there are out there that somebody wants to sell and you could move it. So I was just thinking about that. And so then it was like 2 days later, my brother calls me and he said that his friend, who's a realtor out here, he said that he just called him and said, hey, I've got a really good deal on a house that needs to be moved. Do you want to try and get it? Or does your sister want to try and get it? Well, you got to have like $100,000 in cash, but then it's all paid for. It's like, it's $30,000 for the house, $40,000 for the mover, and then you have to have the foundation laid to put it on, and there's some other things, and then you still got to work on it and get the house put together. I mean, it comes in but there's still things like you got to have an electrician come in and hook it up, and he had said that it needs some work on the inside, but it probably like updating or something. I don't know how much work it would need, like wall patching, new floors, who knows. But anyways, it was just so weird because I was sitting there thinking of that, and then all of a sudden my brother calls and says that. And so my brother's like, well, I don't have the cash to do that right now. And I was like, well, I don't, but you never know what's going to happen. Anything could happen any day. You just got to see. And he goes, yeah, because sometimes, somebody wants the $30,000 for the house, but nobody buys it. So then they start saying, well, I'll give you the house for free. Just get it moved out of here. That happens a lot too, because, I mean, it is all stuff you have to pay in cash. So anyways, I don't know where that's all going to go or how it's going to play out, but it was just weird how I was sitting there thinking about it. And then it was like really good news to me is like, my brother was totally open. Yeah, move the house and put it out there. And so that makes me excited because I really do like it out here. I mean, there's things that are downer, like there's lots of bugs, there's lots of thorns, but there's so much peace. And I like not being right up on your neighbor. I like your neighbors to be further away from you. That's how I think we're all supposed to live. I don't really think that them moving us into cities on top of each other, they knew that that was going to cause a big interference in our energy, and it was going to cause us to have more friction and more turmoil and be uncomfortable, and then we would lose sight of what was us and what was somebody else's. And so to me, you feel so much more peace and serenity. And then just being by the water just sends out a signal of peace to me. And so and you can read the water too, because the water will show more hostility with certain weather, and then other weather, you just see it. It's just like moving with such peace. And I don't know, I feel like nature is always kind of giving us signs and showing us through a language that we had to pay attention to. But so much of the time, it's just so calm out there, and it's so serene, and it's peaceful, and it's beautiful. You can see so far and stuff. It's just, I really like it. So I do really want to stay here. I do really want to, get a place. And I keep picturing, like, now I've seen a picture of this house, and I keep picturing it like, oh, sitting right on the river, looking out at the river, and how nice and peaceful it would be. So anyways, I don't know how all those things will play out. You just never know. And if it's not that, it will always be something better. It gets better and better and better. So I don't know how it's going to play out. I don't know. This guy was really desperate to hurry up and sell this house because somebody wanted this land. He had bought some land, and he was going to move the house to it. His deal fell through, but the land that he was selling, somebody wants it, but they don't want the house. They want the house off. So he wants that deal is going to fall through if he doesn't get rid of the house. And so it all was supposed to be happening fast, but I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go. But that's also how it can end up being like, okay, well, I really want this deal to go through, so take the house. You just got to pay to have it moved. And so, and then that's $40,000 cash to get the house moved. So, but anyways, it would be so cool just having it sitting out there facing out the river. And then I was seeing like all the other things that I could do around on the property with garden, and putting in a little area for goats and chickens, which there still is those hostile fucking coyotes out there. And I know they're at that one guy's yard, the one that bought all that property, and then he had no way to enter it. It just seems so corrupt. And Crystal said her husband keeps going and looking at property and keeps finding that all over the place. Like, they're selling pieces of property that there is no access. Like, you got to have a helicopter. When we get our hover cars, yeah, that'll work out real well. But who knows how long that's going to take. We can just hover into our place. We don't need roads. But at this point, you got to have roads to access. You got to have roads to have them bring in your electricity. You have to have the road to have them come in to dig your well. So, like, you got to have access. And even for inspectors, like, you got to have everything's got to be inspected in this world. And everything, we got to have an inspector for this, inspector for that. You got to have your papers. Everything's got to have its papers. So anyways, yeah, you can't just go and have land that has no way to access it. So, and these people, how do they get away with this? It's so odd. But yeah, that poor guy over there. But my brother was going to sell him part of his property to be able to access into his. But the guy was too pissed. He just was like, he was going to court to fight him. And 2 years in court. He didn't get any further. But his land is really big on that other side, and it's so overgrown. And I know that's where the coyotes are. So, because over this way is one piece of land, one lot, whatever they're called. It's how many ever acres? And I can't remember, 2 or 5 or something. And so that next lot, and then the one next to him, that's got a house. And then I don't know, because I could see some other houses, but I don't know all of how it's all divided up. So you can see a few houses scattered around, everywhere, but nobody's like right on top of each other. Well, if you go back to the neighborhood further back, they're a little closer, but still, I don't know. I mean, the way they're building, because she went, my sister-in-law was driving me into this other town the other day, over to where like Costco and stuff was, and they were doing a lot of building and stuff, and the houses, like, it looks like you could reach out your window and touch your neighbor's house. It's like, we're not meant to live like that. I mean, to me, we're meant to live out where we can grow our own food and we can have some space and stuff. But in this thing, this was a girl from college. And so she said that her professor had asked the class a question. And she said her answer was separate from everybody else's. Everybody else had the same answer. She had a different answer. And so she wanted to ask online because she was trying to see, like, how odd, if there's more people that look at it like her, which I still don't know how she looks at it. I know how I looked at it. So the question was, so this guy has a daughter, and his daughter has an illness that needs some kind of a surgery, but the insurance won't cover the surgery. He has to have cash. And if she doesn't have the surgery, she's going to pass on. And so he is the proprietor, whatever that is, of his either his grandpa, I think it's his grandpa or something's money. And so the grandpa is like 83 years old, and he's the one who is in charge, whatever it is called, of this guy's money. And so this guy has enough money to pay for the surgery, but then it's going to leave him with no money. And so what would you do? Would you go and take the money and go get your daughter's surgery? Or would you let your daughter die and make sure you left the money for your grandpa? And to me, everything in life, every single situation is to show you who you are. So whatever your choice is, choices have consequences, which that one lady who was talking about her daughter-in-law, now, she put out all this stuff. There was more rules and stuff. Like, you had to wear one of these. You had to use hand sanitizer at the door. You couldn't touch the baby. A whole laundry list of all this stuff. Like, it was long, of all these rules and stuff to come to her house and what you could talk about and everything. And so it's funny too, because this woman's video, what I had said in the comments, and I had said about choices and consequences, this lady said it now in this video. And so, because it's true, or it is, I mean, your choices have consequences. And so now the daughter-in-law is all upset because nobody wants to come. And now she's whining and crying because she has no village. It's like, chick, in the mother-in-law, she was saying, you had a village, you just built up walls so nobody could come in. And because you don't allow, I mean, you're not allowing people to be themselves, and you're trying to make them all into your puppets. And most people don't want to be controlled and be ruled. And so, but everything is in life is about choices and consequences. Everything is about what you do will come back to you, and how you, like, do you have integrity? And another thing when it comes to life or death is what I say all the time. You cannot control things. Like, he could go and steal this guy's money, which would show a lack of integrity, which would have choices and consequences. So you would have aftermath. And then his daughter could get that and still pass, because if she's meant to go, she's meant to go. Everything in life is to give you an opportunity to witness yourself, to see. And to me, it's always best to follow your integrity. And you can have situations happen where, that he says, no, I'm not taking his money. It's not my money. I'm not going to take his money and leave him. And a lot of people were coming up with ideas in the thing. Well, he could just move him in and take the money, and I would save my daughter and all this stuff. Like, a lot of people thought that way. And so I think a lot of people don't think about integrity in that way of, like, you don't just take something that's not yours just because you can. You don't do something because you think nobody's looking just because you can. It is, the universe is always watching. Your higher self is always watching you. If you think God's watching you, it's you. It's you is watching you. And so but if you choose integrity, then it's like making that choice, coming back to you, then the universe, if that's meant to be, then, some other doctor would step in and be like, hey, I'll do this surgery for you. You don't have to pay me. I'm going to do what's right. And so, but everything is about this, your choices, they have consequences, and you go and take that. Then when you're making a choice like that, things are going to go in a certain direction. So you go take that money, then you go and get the daughter her surgery, then her surgery fails and she passes because that was always going to be. And then grandpa ends up having some situation and he needs his money, but you've taken it. So it all blows up. Those are the things that blow up in our faces. And we are, like, oh, we think God's out to get us and stuff like that. It's like, no, you are here to learn. You're here to learn how to be your best version. And your best version has integrity and trust the universe and trust how things are supposed to play out. And so to try and control them by stealing somebody else's stuff. And then right now, this is what we have going in this world is like, well, you don't have any money for food. So everybody's going to go out and steal it. They've got people stealing food. And some of them are stealing it ahead of time. Like, yeah, well, I know next month and Walmart's closing down, Costco's closing down. What's the other store? 3 stores are closing their doors, which is also going to be a part of the snake eating its own tail. But and then you have to only order online, and then you have to go pick it up. Nobody's gonna be allowed to go in the stores because of all the thievery, which, what you put out comes back to you. So all of this thievery was going to cause the reaction. And so then we have these people who just keep going and stealing stuff. But it's like life hands you situations so that you can see yourself. And no matter what, however it is, however, everybody's got different things playing out. But everything is about choices and consequences. And it's about karma is what you put out comes back to you. So to me, it is better to choose integrity. It's better to choose trust. It's better to choose faith. And when you go in those directions, then the universe, like, gives you, it shows you, like, that you are going in the right direction. And so it gives back to you. And I think that there's a big thing coming. I think there is a big thing coming because I think there is a lot of people who have been choosing integrity, going against the system, choosing their integrity, choosing their soul, choosing what feels right to them, following their instincts and stuff instead of just doing what they're told and being a product of their environment and losing all their integrity and stuff. And then because when your soul knows something and you override that to be a good person or to follow along or whatever, then you're bypassing the structure of self. So you're bypassing your integrity. So in your integrity is a part of who you are. It's like your moral compass. So you need to follow that. And when it is being challenged, that doesn't mean you just surrender and you give up. It's like all the challenges are there to see how far will you go with this. And the more that you go towards what is right and what is good, the more that the universe that energy that you put out will come back to you. And so, anyways, I think that we're going to see as things flip, we're going to see a lot of that positive energy come back in and show the influence over, look what happens when you choose the right direction. When there's no right or wrong, but there's a positive and a negative. And so when you choose self and you choose integrity and you choose that direction, that has the repercussions that will come back on you will be more positive. Whereas you choose to be more negative and steal and take from other people and stuff like that, that energy will come back on you too. And it's going to, and we're going to watch, we're going to see how this stuff starts flipping around and coming back. And that's probably the year of the horse, where we're going to see a lot. Right now, it's like everybody is, you know, choosing their direction. They're like, the challenges are there and they're choosing their direction. And which to me, like, I saw this one girl and I thought, see, this is, there needs to be more of this one girl. She was like, okay, well, they're saying they're going to close down food stamps and all this stuff, so I'll show you where you can go and get some food and make some cheap meals. I'll show you some cheap meals you can make. And so she headed over to the dollar store, which, you know, there's a problem with the dollar store too, but still, like, I've seen some of these girls go in there and get some stuff out of there and make some good dinners for like $5. I used to be really proud of myself because we were pretty broke when I had all four of the kids and I was a stay-home mom and stuff like that. I clipped coupons and I would do everything I could to make cheap dinners. And so I tried to always make my dinners be between $5 and $10 per dinner. And I could do really good. And so it's, you know, like for some of these people, it may be just like changing directions, you know, like cooking from scratch is a big difference. Buying bags of dry beans and rice. Well, they've kind of edged up rice, but sometimes you can get russet potatoes for cheap, like 10 pounds for $2. So you go and you find things that are manageable and you start looking up recipes. Go on Pinterest, go on Google, look up recipes and start making soups and casseroles. And, you know, you can save money and feed your family. And so, you know, just go to bare scrapings. And if there's certain bills that you have to, you know, like, don't pay your credit cards, go buy some fucking food and make it, you know. And yeah, your credit score is gonna suck, but still, it's a better choice. And so, you know, this is what everything is about right now. Everything is about you making choices and what direction do you go and how do you decide what you're going to do, you know, and you're going to take care of your health, you're going to take care of your family, or you're going to take care of like your credit score and worrying about that. And, you know, even if you just say, okay, well, you know, they're doing this and we can't pay for food and pay for our house payment, then just stop paying your house payment. I mean, there's a lot of people, I lived in mine for 3 years. And so you live there for like, there's no, I mean, stuff's going to be changing. I think we're on the precipice of this, the bank failure. So, and that's, you know, they already had all of the people who aren't paying. It's already affected them. And so you just adding on to it is just another little fucking curb stomp on this fucking already failing system. And so it's pretty, you know, safe way to go right now, because especially when everybody's doing it at once, just like all these girls, you know, taking off their headdresses and taking off their robes and going out and looking just like regular girls. It's like when you got so many people doing it at once, they can't keep up. And plus we have a leader, even though a lot of people don't want to look at it this way, but we have a leader who's trying to push us into independence, to not just be a product of our environment, not just play along. And so there's a part of us that also has to go in that direction. But I would, you know, if it came down to it, if it was me and I still had all my kids at home, and I would be like, okay, well, I mean, maybe even have a family meeting, depending on, you know, the age of your kids and your husband or whoever. But be like, okay, well, we're going to choose food and we're going to choose to try and survive this situation, but we're going to have to stop paying our house. And we'll start saving some money up, and we may end up living in an RV for a while. We may end up, you know, having to move out from your school and your friends. We may have to, but we're going to go in this direction. So I would start buying food, stop paying the house, stop paying the credit cards. And I mean, you kind of got to pay the car right now, because they'll come and take it a lot faster and you may need the car to be able to get around, but don't just spend all the money. Start putting some of the money aside. Start looking for, something cheaper. Like we get all caught up in like, we have to have our house. We have to have this. We have to have that. Well, when it comes down to it, what's the most important thing? The house or surviving? And so that is our moral dilemma. And we've got to, choose like, well, we may lose this house, but we'll get another one. We'll get another one and it'll be better. Everything's going to get better. We just got to ride it out. We got to ride this wave and get through it. And so that's the part, that's the part where you got to trust the universe and trust and have faith, and everything's going to get better. Jesus, lady. God. Excuse me. She always gets like, she can tell, like, it's okay. It's time. Today, this morning, we're going to have croissants. We're going to go in and heat up some croissants. So anyways, that is to me what I would do personally. I would just be like, okay, well, it's time for us to let go of this place. And if there's stuff you want to start selling, or whatever, like if you had some teenage kids and they want to sell their Game Boys or whatever, and, and start preparing for, we're going to move. We're going to go somewhere else. And that may not even come. Then maybe, it depends on what you're here to experience, but could very well be, you make that choice and you say, well, we're not going to be able to pay. And then, 2 months from now, the whole fucking system's collapsed and you own the house outright. So it's like, but to me, it's always choose your integrity and stuff. And then you also have a big problem though, because this is another another corporate trap, is to get all these people living in rentals. And that is a binding. But that is also another thing. I mean, some of them, they can kick them out quick. I think it depends on your county and stuff. But that's where you just got to be prepared. And, get a camper. It's like, get a camper and get prepared to just change your life, change your lifestyle. But if you want to survive, and then another thing about survival is we don't need to eat like the way they've told us. We can eat much different. So it's a redirection on how we eat, how many times a day we eat. And to me, just go back into time and look at how people survived. People weren't getting up, eating breakfast, come in and eat lunch, then go eat dinner, then have a couple of desserts, have some snacks, then go to bed and stuff. It was a lot more working hard and eating less. And so we were misled, just like pumpkin lattes are a fun thing. It's like we've been misled through a lot of our consumption, because they have fed off of that because they make money. Okay, Stella, I know you're ready for your next meal. She's already had one. Just can't tell her. Like, she's like, when I'm hungry, I'm hungry. That's one thing. Like, fuck. Can't convince them that they don't need to eat fucking 3 or 4 meals a day. So, but what do they eat? They eat dry beans, vegetables, and rice or potatoes or something. So that's how I feed them. I eat really weird, I think. Like, if I want to just eat cookies. Oh, yesterday, though, I think I made something good. So I took spaghetti, cooked it, and then I fried it with, those bags of salad. So I got the Asian one. And so fried that and made like Chinese noodles. And it was really good. And I still have a half a thing left that I'm going to eat today. So, so altogether, well, the spaghetti is spaghetti I've had for a long time from the food bank. So I didn't even pay for the spaghetti, but you can get spaghetti for like $1. And then those bags of salad, $4. And even though I'm just one person, but even if you were going to feed a family, that would still just be like $5. And then you'd probably have to add something in because it would probably still be hungry. But anyways, you can figure out ways to eat that are cheaper. You know, we just are so stuck in such a consumption kind of mindset, and we got to eat and we're going to starve. I mean, it's so crazy to see these girls who are super overweight out there. We're going to starve. It's like, girl, I don't think you're going to starve. You may feel like you're starving. You may feel like you need to eat, but your body would be able to live off of itself for a while. And that's one thing that these people, these fasters, have proven, and how much your body heals by fasting. Like, we need to spend more time not eating. But like I've said before, you gotta, it's all up in here too. If you go at this thinking you're gonna starve, you're gonna start being sickly from it. If you go at it thinking like, okay, well, we're gonna learn how to fast, family. We're gonna, every day we're gonna have fast. But instead you see these people crying, my kids are so hungry. They're gonna, it's like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I just think that there's a lot of things that we can do different. And there is food banks around, and I bet you that there's going to be more kinds of things that are going to be some foods given away and stuff like that. So there's something too with some places with farmers are giving away some food and stuff, but it depends on where you're at and stuff, if that's available to you. But anyways, to me, keep your eyes and ears open for what kind of community things are going on with the food, and reevaluate and follow your integrity, follow your morals, follow your gut instinct, and don't get caught up in prioritizing the stuff from the system is what you got to hold on to. Otherwise, you're going to end up finding your hands are kind of empty, you know, so and take a break off the fucking poison food anyways. Like, man, I mean, some of this stuff isn't good for your kids. It's like, it's not good for anybody. So anyways, that's what I got to say about it. And so the dogs are all becoming hostile. And Archie and Max got in a big old brawl this morning. Man, those two. Jesus, I can't believe. Archie is like, he can become so violent with Max. And then he acts all like wounded or something. It's like, you are harassing Max. I don't know what exactly goes on if he suddenly snips you and then you get hurt. And so then you go insane. But leave him the fuck alone. Just leave him alone. And then here's Ruthie. She's right on top of him right now, just waiting. She's just waiting. And she's always got this face. Like, yesterday, though, she did have 2 pee accidents. I swear to God, that just pisses me off. Like, how are you still peeing in the house? So I do need to get up and get her to go outside. She'll just pee wherever. So anyways, but I'm telling you, the biggest and most important things to work on is you. And a good direction to head towards is learn how to love yourself. There's a lot of people out there who don't like themselves at all. So you'll learn how to love yourself. And that's learning how to forgive yourself, learning how to accept yourself. So learn how to love yourself, learn how to love everybody else, which is the same kind of rules, and learning how to have the day you want to have. It's all in how you focus. It's all in how you look at things. And what you put out is going to come back to you. So we'll see what this day brings while everybody's focused on dressing up as some kind of character and going out and getting drunk. We'll see how this day rolls through and see what comes. We'll see what November's bringing us. Hopefully a big crash. So there'll probably be a lot of big crashes going to be coming. So anyways, but I'll talk about it tomorrow. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.